Shalom Aleichem, a good Chodesh Kislev, should be a good Chodesh Kislev, and Hanukkah will be coming soon. Well, anyway, we have here Kur Lazahav, Me'is Yehuda Edel Sharshevsky, Otzos Chevras Mafitze Agudas Chazal. Vina, it was made in Vina. Chevras Mafitze Agudas Chazal, that's the society for spreading out the agudos, the stories, the stories that are in the Gemara of Chazal, of the Chachamim, Zechron Levracha. Here's the Sharablot, the first page over here. This is Meis Yehuda Edel ben Binyamin Sharshevsky. There we go. Okay, anyway, let's take a look here. This is on the chashivos of Mincha, that it's very chashuv, very good to daven Mincha, to daven and to say the Shemona Esrei of Mincha. Okay, Omar, here we go. Omar Rab Chelbo Liolam Yehi Adam Zahir B'Tfilas HaMincha. Rab Chelbo said, this is in the Gemara of Brachos Perek Aleph. Brachos Perek Aleph. So Amar Rab Chelbo said, Liolam Yehi Adam Zahir B'Tfilas HaMincha. People should always be very careful when they're davening the Shemona Esrei of Mincha. It's very chashuv, it's very important. Shaharei Eliyahu lo ne'ena ela b'tfilas hamincha, because Eliyahu Hanavi was only answered by the tefillah of Mincha. Mincha is in the middle of the day. Shene'emar, because it says Malachim Aleph Yud Ches. It says in Malachim Aleph Yud Ches Kings, chapter 1, pasuk 18. Vayehi ba'alos hamincha vayigash Eliyahu Vayomer Aneni Hashem Aneni. And it came when Mincha time came, the midday came. Vayigash Eliyahu came near to Hashem Vayomer, and he said, Aneni Hashem Aneni. Answer me, Hashem, please answer me. Aneni Shetered Eish Min Hashemayim. Answer me. So why does it say two times Aneni? Because in the Torah every word is counted. Why did he say it twice? Aneni, answer me. Shetered Eish Min Hashemayim. That fire should come from the Shemayim, from heaven. And what Eliyahu did was he put a carbon, a sacrifice on the Mizbeach, on the altar, and he asked Hashem to bring down Eish Min Hashemayim, fire from heaven, to burn it, to show that it was a miracle. Aneni Shetered Eish Min Hashemayim. Answer me that fire should come down from Shemayim, from the heaven. Aneni Shelo Yomru Masek Kishafim Heim. And also answer me that they shouldn't say that this is an act of keshef, of magic or witchcraft. Rabbi Yochanan said, because they might see the fire coming from the heaven, and they can say this is like a trick, or some kind of thing like that. Rabbi Yochanan said, Af b'tfilas arvis, even in the Shemona Esrei of Arvis, or the davening of Ma'ariv, of the evening prayer, Shenamar, because it says, Tehillim Kuf Mem Aleph, it says in Psalms 141, Tichon tefilasi kitores lefonecha masas chapai minchas erev. It says in Tehillim 141, it says, please establish my prayer kitores, like incense lefonecha, it should be like incense before you, Hashem, masas chapai, the raising of my hands, minchas orev. Minchas Orev, the gift that he is giving Hashem in the evening, of davening to Hashem in the evening. Minchas Orev. Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak Amar, Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak says, Af b'tfilas Shacharis. Even you should also be careful in the tefillah of Shacharis, in the davening of Shacharis. Shena Amar, because it says, or the Shemona Esrei of Shacharis. Shena Amar, because it says, Sham Hey, it says there in Tehillim, the third Sham Hey, in the third Psalm, the fifth, not the third. Hey is the fifth. Hashem Boker Tishma Koli. Hashem Boker, in the morning, please listen to my voice. So the morning is Tefillas Shacharis. So Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak says one should be careful even in Shacharis also, in Shacharis too. In other words, Reb Chelbo said it should one should really be careful by Mincha. So then Rabbi Yochanan says one should be careful also in the Tefillah of Arvis and the Ma'ariv. And Reb Nachman Bar Yitzchak says we should be careful also in the Shacharis. Hatam. So let's see what they're saying here. Hatam Pashut Lama Hizeh Rabbi Chelbo Rak Al Tfilas HaMincha. The simple reason of why Rabbi Chelbo says one should be careful in the davening of Mincha is Acharei Shebechol HaTefilos Sarich HaAdam Lihios Zahir Kefi HaMaskana. After we see it in the end of that Mishnah, of that piece of Gemara, that a person has to be careful on all of the Tefilos. So why did Rabbi Chelbo said just Tefilos Mincha? The Maskana means the end of the Gemara that says that we should be careful in Ma'ariv and then also in Shacharis too. So why did Rabbi Chelbo specifically say Mincha? The reason is Shetefilas Shacharis hi hakodemes l'chol malachos hayom. That when one says Shacharis, the davening of Shacharis, it's before all of the work of the day. Betfilas Arvis hi gamkein boeis kalos kol malacha ve'avoda. And the davening of Arvis is also at the time of the ending of all of the work and all of the affairs of the day. So in other words, one can have some menucha, some rest by Arvis, by the Ma'ariv. And Shacharis is also, you're waking up, so one has a little bit of menuchas hanefesh, one has a little bit of shalva, of respite. So therefore one can daven Shacharis easier. L'chein ein mei hatzorech lahazhir aleihen. So therefore we don't have to warn on these things, because one is a little bit more zohir. One's a little bit more careful with Shacharis and also Ma'ariv. Avo Tov Pei Tes HaMincha. Avo Tov Pei Tes. Okay, we can try to find out what that means. Avo Tefilas HaMincha, the davening of Mincha. Tihiyeh Kemaat Al Harov B'Emtza HaMalacha V'Hatorech. But the Tefilas of Mincha is usually, it's for everybody, it's in the middle of the day-to-day working and toil and everything. It's in the middle of everything. Yazman over, and then the time goes by, and then one can work the whole day and forget about Mincha. L'chein roa Rabbi Chelbo lahazhir aleho b'yichud. Therefore, Rabbi Chelbo saw it fit to warn us about Mincha. That's why he stressed Mincha. Umesader hashas hebigam divrei Rabbi Yochanan v'Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak, and the order of the shas of the Gemara is it gives us also the words of Rabbi Yochanan, who says we have to be careful also about. What did Rabbi Yochanan say? Rabbi Yochanan said we have to be careful about Tfilas Arvis, and Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak says we have to be careful also about Shacharis, Tfilas Shacharis. So Mesader Hashas, hey Vigam Divrei Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak. It also brings the words of Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak. Ki im hoya omeid mafsik rak b'divrei Rabbi Chelbo hoya nira halzilzul b'yetzer atfilos. Because if we would only be standing or mafsik and thinking about and making a psak halacha, says thinking about it, what are our priorities? Priorities, we would think. From what Rabbi Chelbo said, we would think that he's saying that Mincha is the most important thing, and that the others are not as important. Chas v'shalom. We might think that. V'yolam lefi ha'havchana v'divrei Rabbi Chelbo lavad. But if we're thinking about what Rabbi Chelbo is saying, nira shehu michaven rak letfilas hamincha. It seems that he is just talking about Tfilas HaMincha. In other words, he's not talking about the other Tfilos of Shacharis and Arvis, of Ma'ariv and Shacharis, but he's talking specifically about Mincha. We don't have to judge the Arvis and Shacharis from what he's talking about Tfilas HaMincha. Liestron Ma'alosa, that it itself has a very important Maila. It has a very important thing that is very special about it. And we can see from it, and we see the proof of this because Rabbi Eliyahu Hanavi, the prophet, was only answered by Tfilas Mincha. V'chein Mesayim Harashba zal shehi be'eis ratzon, and then the Rashba also says that the Mincha is a time of ratzon, of that Hashem is pleased with it. One can have a little bit more, or get. He is. It's an eis ratzon. It's a time of that Hashem likes this. This is a favor to Hashem. Eis Ratzon, that means a time of favor. Lama Davka Oz Eis Ratzon. Why is it over there that Mincha is the time of favor? Why is it that Mincha is like that? Ye'uyin midivrei harashba zal. We can learn from the word of Rashba. Shekol devarav hema tovim v'nichochim, because all of the words of the Rashba are very good, v'nichochim, and they're all very good, and they show their goodness. Ella sheyesh lahosif aleim divrei tam midivrei chazal biatzmam. We have to add to this the words from the Chazal also, biatzmam also, the Chazal, the rabbis. We have to add to the words of the Rashba the words of the rabbis also. Kedarkenu al harov ba'agados, like it's our way on most of the agados, on the agados in the Talmud, the agados, the stories in the Talmud, levaer devareihem v'divrei atzmam, to explain the words of the Chazal, of the agados, and the words of the Rabbanan. Shetefilas hamincha mekubeles beratzon yeter al sha'ar hatfilos, that the tefillah of Mincha is accepted beratzon, with Hashem, with more love, more than the other tefillos. That the tefillah of Mincha is accepted by Hashem with more acceptance than the other tefillos. From what the Zichronon Levracha, what the rabbis said, the blessed memory, what they said, Lahalon b'zeh perik, in this perik. Tanya Mishmei de Rabbi Meir, Bisha shehachama zoreches v'chol malachei mizrach u'ma'arav hakadmonim manichim v'chol malachei mizrach u'ma'arav hakadmonim manichim ataroseihem Berashehem u'mishtachavim lechama miyad koes HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is the reason. This is what they said. It says in the words of Rabbi Meir, at the time in the morning, shachama zarachas, when the sun starts shining, the sun is beginning to rise. V'chol malchei mizrach ha'ma'ariv, all of the kings of the east and the west, hakadmonim, in ancient times, manichim atroseim berasheim, they're putting their crowns on their head. Mishtachavim lachama miyad koes HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they put their crowns on their head, and they start bowing to the sun. Chas v'shalom, God forbid. Miyad koes HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So then the Holy One, blessed be He, becomes angry at that point. Hine mevor sibas hakas bo'ei sahi betechilas sha'ei kamaisa. So this is explaining the reason of the kas at that point in the time of the morning. It's a time of a certain anger that Hashem has at the sunrise, as it were. Of course, He doesn't have anger, but this is a way of talking that it's not the most opportune time. It's more of an opportune time in the midday, because there's an inyan, there's like a certain aspect of anger in the morning. Lefisha oz ovdei achama, because at that point the ones that serve the sun, God forbid, shehi hoyisa vayomim hakadmonim avodas gilulim ayoter gedolah sheba avodos hatzavah. Because at that point, at those ancient times, the service of the sun, God forbid, was the biggest. That was the biggest service that people had of all of the service of the Avodah Zarah, all of the idolatry. They would serve the sun, God forbid. Okay. So yachisuhu behevlehem. It says in the Torah, Yachisuhu bihevlehem. They made Hashem angry with their nonsense, with behevlehem, with their things of vanity. In other words, the things that didn't make sense. In Yamar Chazal, the Chachamim, the rabbis of blessed memory, said, Beperik Chelek, Mifnei ma chama yotzeis b'mizrach b'shokas b'mayrev. Why is it that the sun comes out in the east and then it sets in the west? Kedei litein shalom lakone, to give peace to Hashem, to the one that acquired everything, the one that owns everything, the Hashem, meaning Hashem. The Rambam says in the Moreh Nevuchim, the guide for the perplexed, the Maimonides, the guide for the perplexed, Chelek Aleph, Perek Memhei, Omar, he says, Vehu Inyan Amram Shechina B'Ma'arav. And this is the aspect of where it said the Shechina B'Ma'arav, that the Shechina is in the west. Of course, the Shechina is everywhere, of course. All right, but so it says that the Shechina is in the Ma'ariv, in the west. Ove'aro Razal, the rabbis explained it in Masechet Yoma, She'Avram Avinu alav shalom yiyached es ha'ma'arav, that Avram Avinu had an affinity with the west. Rotzel Amar, or he became yiyached es ha'ma'arav. He made the west one. Rotzel Amar, meaning meaning to say, Beis Kodesh HaKadoshim. In the Beis HaMikdash, the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies, was in the west, in the Ma'arav. Vesibas zeh, the reason for this is Etzli by us mifnei shehoya hadas meforsam oz ba'olam because it was very known in the world at that time, Avodas Hashemesh B'Shehu Eloha, that the Chas v'Shalom, that the worship of the sun, God forbid, and the deification of the sun, God forbid, Ain't safek shebnei adam kulam hayu ponim lamizrach. There's no safek, there's no doubt that most of the people at that point were turning their attention to the Mizrach, to the east, in other words, to the sun. B'fnei zeh pana Avram Avinu, because of this, Avram Avinu pana lema'arav. So because of this reason, Avram Avinu Pona lema'arav, he turned to the west, the Har HaMoriah, in Har HaMoriah. Rotzalomar, Mikdash, Ad Shiyosim Achorav Lashemesh, until Avram Avinu had his back towards the sun. In other words, he wanted to show that he is not, God forbid, having anything to do with the sun. He is for Hashem. So Rotzalom Mikdash, in the Mikdash, Har HaMoriah is the place of the Beis HaMikdash. So Ad Shiyosim Achorav Lashemesh, until Avram Avinu turned his back towards the sun. Elo, hello, you can see Yisrael. Hello, Tiri Yisrael. Beis Kofram Veshuvam Ladeo Saros Haim Maosu. You can see a proof when the Yisrael, God forbid, and at the time when they were denying Hashem, God forbid, and they were turning their attentions, their ways of thinking to the bad ways. Me'osu, what did they do? Achareihem el Heichal Hashem. They had their backs to the Heichal Hashem, to the sanctuary of Hashem. They had their backs towards the sanctuary of Hashem, which is a great disrespect, of course. V'heim mishtachavim kadma l'shemesh. V'heim mishtachavim kadma l'shemesh. They were then bowing to the east, to the shemesh, to the sun. God forbid. God forbid. This is what they were doing when they were going in the bad ways. The Yisrael, the Bnei Yisrael, Chas v'Shalom. V'havein zos hapaliyah, and we should understand this amazing thing. V'yagon Ramah v'Sefer Torah Sa'olah Chelak Aleph Daf Daled Omar. The Gaon, the Ramah, the Rabbi Moshe Isserles, says in the Sefer Torah Sa'olah, and the laws of the Olah, of bringing an Olah, Chelak Aleph, the first parak, the first section, Daf Daled, that's page 4. Omar, he says, V'yod Omer me'achar she'shekias hachama hi